Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Triple Double Nation. Today I'll be covering how the NBA super team culture has led to this, Brooklyn Nets. Let's get into the video. Dream Teams winners. Philadelphia 76ers, 1982 through 1986. Although the phenomenon that is the NBA super team may seem like a modern idea, teams have been gathering some of the biggest and brightest talent to assemble these dream teams from way back then. One of the first teams to introduce this idea were the Sixers of the 80s. The Philly franchise had just lost in the 1982 NBA Finals when Moses Malone, a three-time league MVP and future Hall of Famer, joined a stacked squad that already included three future Hall of Famers, Julius Erving, Bobby Jones, and Maurice Cheeks. Malone was quoted saying the Sixers would fo in the playoffs, meaning they would sweep every series 4-0. He was wrong, but not by much. Los Angeles Lakers 1982 through 1989. The Lakers had already won the championship in the 1980 and 1982 seasons thanks to the legendary duo of Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But it was after the 82 title that the Lakers built up what would be considered in today's terms a super team thanks to the arrival of James Worthy. The Lakers drafted him with the number 1 pick in the draft, a pick they acquired thanks to a trade with the Cavaliers 2 years before. Magic, Kareem, and Worthy formed one of the greatest big threes in history. 2 of the 3 are widely considered among the 10 best players in the history of the game. While Worthy was only a 7-time All-Star and MVP of the Finals in 1988. The 88 title would be one of the 3 last titles won after the construction of the Lakers super team that dominated the NBA in the 80s. Boston Celtics 1983 through 1990. The 80s were one of the most important decades in the history of the NBA because of the Lakers-Celtics rivalry. Both franchises had super teams which they maintained for many years. In Boston, they already had their big 3, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish, but with the addition of 1979 Finals MVP Dennis Johnson, the Celtics would go to 4 straight NBA Finals, 84-87, winning 2 in 1984 and 1986. The quartet remained together for 7 years until 1990. Chicago Bulls, 1995 through 1998. The Bulls had already won their first three-peat before Michael Jordan retired for the first time. When MJ returned, so too did the dynasty, but the team that had already won back-to-back championships added something that they didn't have up until that moment. Dennis Rodman, a 2-time All-Star and twice voted the best defender in the league, he arrived from San Antonio to add another dimension on the defensive side of the ball. Although a lot of questions were raised about his attitude on and off the floor, in Chicago, for the most part, he behaved himself and proved to be the perfect complement Jordan and Pippen. Boston Celtics 2007 through 2012. The Celtics were the first franchise in the modern era to form a super team, or at least the first one to find success with this formula. They went from having the worst record in the NBA in 2007 to the best record the next year, 66-16, and finished it off with beating the Lakers in the finals. A more fitting definition for a super team would be hard to find. Paul Pierce was already a longtime Celtic, but 2 summer acquisitions left the rest of the league with their jaws on the floor. Ray Allen joined from the Sonics and Kevin Garnett from the T-Wolves. This big 3 would reach another final 2010 and would be a constant force to be reckoned with in the playoffs until Ray Allen's departure from the Heat in 2012. Miami Heat 2010 through 2014. Surely the most controversial of any super team in history, the way that LeBron James announced he was leaving the Cavs left Cleveland fans burning his jerseys and a large majority of fans celebrating the Heat's loss to the Mavericks in the ensuing 2011 finals. But the Miami super team would not be held down for long. They won the next 2 titles in the next 2 years, and LeBron picked up 2 Finals MVP awards. The 3 were together for 4 years, and in every year reached the NBA Finals. Cleveland Cavaliers 2014 through 2017. Yet again, LeBron was at the nucleus of a super team, this time returning home after a stint in Miami and returning as officially the best player of the game. Cleveland, he joined Kyrie Irving, Rookie of the Year in 2012, and Kevin Love, who was traded off the Cavs from Minnesota. Another big 3 that lasted 3 years, and in all 3 years reached the finals. Their greatest feat was in 2016 when they won the only title in Cavs history after a historic comeback against the Golden State Warriors. Golden State Warriors 2016 through 2019. The loss in the 2016 finals was a detonator that led to the next and last super team, which had incredible success in their pursuit of the title. It's true that before that year, Golden State had already had a fantastic team with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. He won the title in 2015 and had the best record in the history of the NBA the next year, but the arrival of Kevin Durant turned that team from great to almost unbeatable. Dream Team failures. Orlando Magic 1993 through 1996. After years of the Magic-Bird rivalry and Jordan's reign abruptly cut short, the NBA was in search of a new king, and it seemed like it was destined to come out in Florida. The graceful all the while out of his world strength and charisma of Shaquille O'Neal made him the perfect candidate to fill those shoes in the mid-90s, and the Magic took advantage by creating a super team around him. Penny Hardaway was the other fundamental piece of the puzzle. He was a compulsive scorer and creator who was perfect complement on the perimeter to Shaq in the paint. That team certainly looked like a championship team, but didn't have the heart of a championship team. In 1994, they were bounced from the first round of the playoffs. In 1994 and in 1995, they did reach the finals, but were topped off by the Rockets. In 96, Jordan returned to the Bulls, and the Magic had missed their chance. Houston Rockets, 1998 through 1999. The Rockets were just coming off a disappointing playoff run in 1998, so after that season, they made a big push to sign Scottie Pippen, who left a dismantled Bulls team coming off their second three-peat. The future Hall of Famer joined Hakeem Olajuwon and Charles Barkley to make one last push for a championship. The trio on paper looked like a dream. Unfortunately, the wear and tear over the course of the season took its toll on the veteran trio. It was the Lakers who ended up KOing the Rockets in the first round. Los Angeles Lakers, 2003 to 2004. Another dream lineup consisting of Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant at the wheel and the offseason additions of Karl Malone and Gary Payton. But yet again, the latter two had seen better days, and the former two had seen their relationship deteriorate almost to the point of no return. That, on top of the injuries racked up by the Big Four, made for a difficult season. Although they reached the finals, they met a hungry, stingy Detroit team that took the title and ended up breaking the Dream Team apart. O'Neal would ship out to Miami, Payton went to Boston, and Malone retired. Los Angeles Lakers 2012 through 2013. The Lakers tried to form a team that would give Kobe Bryant his sixth ring. Seeing that their legendary guard was in the twilight of his career, veteran Steve Nash and Dwight Howard, who the franchise hoped would be the new face of the Lakers when Kobe retired, joined Bryant and Paul Gasol. But the relationship between Howard and Bryant would always have friction, and when Kobe ruptured his Achilles tendon would lead to the Lakers' worst regular season since 2007. Brooklyn Nets, 2013 to 2014. The Nets already knew what it's like to create a super team that didn't turn out exactly how they were expecting. Although it must be said their team at the moment looks a bit more promising than the one assembled 8 years ago. It was just the second year of the Nets were in Brooklyn, and the franchise opted to do away with the future project of the organization, hoping to land immediate success. They brought in former members of the Celtics' Big Three, Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, joining Joe Johnson and Deron Williams. Oklahoma City Thunder 2017 through 2018. After Kevin Durant left the Thunder in 2016, OKC had a decision to make. They had a good enough team to be competitive and reach the playoffs, but they didn't have a team that would contend for a title. With the reigning MVP of the league, Russell Westbrook, they decided to go all in. The Thunder traded for four-time All-Star Paul George and signed free agent Carmelo Anthony, who had been to 11 All-Star games and considered one of the greatest scorers the league has ever seen. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future.